Hi, and welcome to IdeaBag.net. In our previous video, we checked together the reasons why Brexit could be a good thing for the UK. Now let's see 10 reasons why Brexit could have a negative impact on the British people. Number 1. Trade. According to the treaties governing the Union, the trade between the EU countries is exempt from taxes. This is quite important, taking into consideration that more than 50% of the UK exports had EU countries as a destination. In the context of Brexit, the UK is now forced to make new trading deals separately with each country in the European bloc, as well as with other economic powers like Canada, Japan, or the US. Unfortunately, the power of negotiation will get demised, as it's one thing to negotiate by yourself, and another to have the support of the other 27 countries. Number 2. Investments. So far, London has been one of the biggest financial centers of the world, and was seen to be by many the main gateway to the EU markets. Once out of Europe, there would no longer be a free passport across the continent for financial firms to enjoy. Banks in particular, mostly from the US, already started moving their business and European headquarters back into EU cities, like Paris or Berlin. With them gone, so is the tax money they paid. Number 3. Labor shortage. It is said that 3 million jobs are linked to trade with the European Union. If trade falls and the slack is not picked up elsewhere, then some of those jobs will be lost. This could hold back the potential for economic growth within the country. A decline in population would also likely reduce the demand for goods and services sold domestically. Skill shortages could hurt specific sectors of the economy as well. Number 4. High-skill job openings that would remain unfulfilled. When you compare the educational data of Britain with that of the remaining European Union members, then employers will see that EU workers tend to be better educated. About 32% of people living in the EU 27, excluding Britain, have a university degree, compared to 21% of citizens in the UK. People moving into Britain from Europe have contributed 34% more financially to the nation than they cost in required supports. Number 5. International relationships. By exiting the EU, the UK will condemn itself to a long period of political isolation. All future deals will be made on the premise of pure profit. All European countries will be reluctant to a UK deal if it cannot bring them massive profits and advantages. No favors will be granted. It is hard to believe that once out of the EU, UK will rejoin the European bloc in the next 30 to 40 years. For that to happen, it would probably require a new generation of politicians in the EU, as the current ones will always look with skepticism towards the UK. Number 6. Local disputes. Besides international disputes, Brexit could also divide British society. After all, the referendum passed with only a low percentage in favor of leaving the Union. This could reset old disagreements between England and Scotland. And let's not forget about the very painful issue of Northern Ireland, which in case of Brexit will burst like a flame. These are delicate matters that require decades of negotiation and a lot of actual spilled blood to reach the peaceful state they are in today. The UK should be careful not to get destroyed from the inside before getting undermined by other evil outside forces, as some pro-Brexit supporters want people to believe. Number 7. Increasing bills. When Brexit is finalized, British people will have to pay higher heating and cooling prices. The energy costs could increase by £500 million or more in the years afterward, because the UK would no longer be able to negotiate pricing on the same scale. There would be concerns with air pollutants and their impact on the environment. These costs could be enough to make some investors look for other options instead of staying in Britain with their money. Number 8. End access to the regulation cost guarantees that Europe provides. Consumers benefit from the regulations that limit costs throughout Europe for specific products and services. For example, since 2015, consumers using cellular phones and data receive the same price for services in any of the EU 28 states as they do back home. This structure prevents unexpected costs from roaming. These costs might rise on the day that the separation occurs. There are additional travel cost concerns to consider as well, such as airline tickets, hotel bookings, and even fuel prices. Number 9. Uncertain future for British people living abroad. There are several million British people living outside the UK. Some of them left for a job opportunity, others for personal reasons like a wife or a husband, while others just retire to sunnier places. Their future isn't all that certain outside of an EU agreement. Number 10. Uncertainty in general. There are so many rumors, so many pros and cons for or against this Brexit, that creates an entire state of uncertainty. From regular hardworking people to bankers, businessmen, or immigrants, nobody knows how exactly the future will look. Nobody knows how exactly the future will look like. Will it be better or worse? There is no right answer, but one thing is sure. A reliable partner is a predictable partner. Nobody wants to deal with an unstable country, where politicians cannot come to an agreement, where investments are not secured, and people live in constant fear of an unforeseeable future. Those were our top 10 reasons why Brexit could have a negative impact on the British people. Thank you for watching. See you in our next video. In the meanwhile, make sure you won't miss anything important by subscribing to our channel.